Hello, my name is David Oswald, and this is a video overview of Hamm's, its history, its brewery, and why it was so successful in its heyday, and finally, its beer. To most people, when you think of cheap beer, you probably first think about Miller High Life, Coors, Budweiser. And while these choices are fine, there's a much better choice that requires you to look just a little further. That choice is a nice cold Hamm's beer. The Hamm's Brewery didn't start its life under ownership of Theodore Hamm. Hamm didn't inherit the brewery until 1865, after his business partner died in California chasing gold. After Hamm inherited the brewery, he hired brewmaster Chris Figg. Chris Figg would leave a legacy of 3 generations of brewmasters at Hamm's, and by the 1880s, Hamm's Brewing Company would be the second largest brewing company in Minnesota. Once Prohibition had ended, Hamm's expanded very quickly and became a nationally known brew, thanks to the president at the time, William C. Figg Jr. But after the 100th anniversary, the Hamm family decided it was finally time to sell the brewing company. After Hamm's was sold, it came under ownership of many different companies. In 1965, it was owned by Hublin. In 1975, it was sold to Olympia Brewing Company. In 1983, Pabst purchased Olympia and Hamm's brewing companies. After Pabst, it went to Stroh Brewing Company, where the original brewery was operational until it was closed in 1997. After 137 years of brewing. Hamm's was off the market until Miller's Coors purchased the brand in 2006, and they now produce 3 different types of Hamm's: Golden Draft, Premium, and Special Light. While the old Hamm's brewery that originally was built in St. Paul had been abandoned and shut down, it still stands to this day, and modern-day brewers are moving into its facility. Much like a large old dead tree, young saplings full of life have started to grow from the old and create new. Currently operating out of the old Hamm's Brewery is the Flat Earth Brewing Company and the 11 Wells Distillery. The old brewery is still standing for those who wish to see it, and although parts of it have been left to ruin, graffiti artists and urban explorers, it is still a great sight to see, and the new brewery working from it is also quite good. I'd recommend anyone in the area to visit it. While the beer is delightful and great in almost every single way, Hamm's was able to create an immensely successful advertising campaign that brought it to fame. The Hamm's jingle and the mascot, the Hamm's Beer Bear, are what really made Hamm's Hamm's. The jingle was originally written by Nell Richmond Everett, with music by Charles Wakefield Cadman, and it goes something like this.
From the land of sky blue water, from the land of pines, lofty balsams, comes the beer refreshing, Hamm's the beer refreshing. Hamm's.
The Hamm's Beer Bear was an animated character that was used on television and printed advertisements to promote Hamm's beer. It was the first ever animated spokesperson for a beer, and it was a huge success. It was created by Patrick Desjarlais and became featured on an endless array of merchandise, such as signs and glassware and other items. Commercials for Hamm's beer featured the Hamm's Bear, and were well written to the point that people argue the animated commercials were better than the cartoons that were out at the same time. Even the Audit Research Bureau reported that the Hamm's Beer Bear commercials were the most liked commercial nationwide. The Beer Bear commercials were ranked as the 75th best commercial of the century in 1999 by Advertising Age magazine. Even the St. Paul Pioneer Press newspaper named the Hamm's Bear as one of the most influential Minnesotans. Unfortunately, use of the bear stopped when there were concerns that it was being used to market the beer towards children. There is now even a statue of the bear in St. Paul, which was erected in 2005. The beer that Hamm's makes today, while not from the original brewery, is still a great choice for any occasion. The premium lager itself is a nice crisp yellow gold color and gives off a nice malty and sweet aroma with some added Pilsner aromas that you just don't find in beers of similar price points. The flavor is refreshing and has a nice malty, slight hoppy, and corn flavor that you look for in nice cheap beers. And only paying $12 for a case of 30, you just can't beat the value that you get out of Hamm's. So why do we drink Hamm's? It's not because it's the absolute best tasting beer out there, and it's probably not even the cheapest, but because we love the history, the nostalgia, the memorabilia, the jingle, the beer bear, and because it just feels right. So next time, when you're out buying beer, don't grab the first case of generic beer you see. Take another look and try to find a case of Hamm's, the beer with a little bit of soul to it. Thank you, and have a nice day.
If you're looking for a beer that's born wet and clear, born in the land of sky blue waters, then reach for a Hamm's, reach for a Hamm's.